Welcome to the following presentation of Minor League Esports on the MLE Network.
Showdown Sunday rolls on live across the Minor League Esports Network as we get set to take battle in Champion League once more. Hello everybody, my name is Inanimate J. Welcome back to the greatest Minor League Esports that is on Twitch. Today, in the booth with me is the one and only Foof. Foof, we've got a big match up in front of us here. It's the Puffins and the Jets, one team chasing down a wildcard spot as their only hope, the other trying to secure one while also still tracking down the division lead in the Forge division.
Well, it is always considered, when do you get hot, Jay? And I talked to a bunch of people, and I've talked to a ton of coaches, and what they water it down to is a season is a race. It is a certain amount of week race, and right now, we are in week 6 of this race, so both of these teams are pushing towards their goal, and one has become a lot harder. That top seed has just been wrenched away from him, like you said, so reaching for that playoff spot, trying to fight back for that wild card spot. So it's up to these teams to just kind of firmly grasp their destiny.
The Jets right now with a lot more control of said destiny, 4 games back of the Forge division leaders in the Express, whereas the Puffins, second place in their division in the Arctic, but that is a long road to climb. 16-game differential between first and second in the Arctic division, almost a foregone conclusion as the Foxes have gone out by a country mile. But as many will tell you, the MLE regular season is a marathon, not a sprint, and there are still a lot of games left to go. A big win for the Puffins here goes a long way towards reeling them in and potentially giving them a little bit of a leg up in that wild card race. It's 3's the game mode. It's DFH for game number 1, Foof. And I'm really looking to see the Puffins come out big. They got a big pickup at midweek, last week, in picking up CB for their roster today, making their MLE debut.
Making a debut at any point in time is huge, but when you need to find wins and start it off for your team, this is a moment that you could look back on this Puffin squad and say, this is where we turned our season the right way. You look across the pitch, you have Leota, Isaac, and Timmy on this Jet side. You already talked about it, CB, Spidey, and Gus coming in for the Puffins. And right now, Demo's already coming through. The physicality starting early for the Jet side, but no real control as the ball continues just to stagnate at midfield.
There is very much a game mode about working with your teams. Timmy, one of the leaders in Champion League for assists per game, 0.9, almost 1 assist per game, good enough to be in the top 10 for the Jets. And we'll see if that comes out to play here, as they'll expect the Puffins want to get on offense early. They have the defender, though a CB will take that one up and away from the net, and the Puffins will transition back towards the Jets' end.
Give him some credit for the passes, but was trying to find one there. This time, CB on top of it. The Puffins have a chance here, but he cannot find the touch. CB had Gus kind of floating across the pitch. An errant touch from Spidey. Timmy gets some control here now. Looking for it in the corner, pass out. Isaac, one to beat, but CB playing it slow, calm, and collected, and making the save and keeping us deadlocked at the 0-0.
Right now, he's seeing a little bit of aggressive positioning out of the Puffins. They get themselves long after that first clear, get into the offensive corners to try and disrupt the Jets rotating back. The real danger to that, Foo, if that ball isn't under control, and it won't be a lot of the time at Champion League, players still really finding that mechanical consistency to find those first and second touches to really put the defenses in a tough spot. You won't see that as often, so that really gives the Puffins a lot to do. If they can't get back in time or lose the ball at midfield, Spidey with a good shot parried away by Isaac.
Talk about the Puffins having to get back there, the Jets having to just stretch for the save, and stretching the field back out are these Jets. They needed some room, finally have it, but now Gus, a little bit of a fast break here, wants it beat, rolling it up high, slowing the pace down, up is Spidey, but no thing to come through. Leota now 1-on-2, a pass coming through. Timmy, though, wasn't ready for it. It made it past both defenders, but that was just slow roller off the backboard. You don't expect that to fall through in CL. No way, the back foot from Spidey! Oh!
Oh, man. CB just doesn't quite get enough of this clear. Isaac just rings it goalward, and V8 Timmy on the back door takes Spidey all the way out from that back post opens the door. The Jets strike first here in game number 1.
It is about finding a way to make a play, and sometimes, Jay, you make plays off the ball, and that is exactly what it is. Leota has a chance here, but CB up in time, denying that aerial attempt. Isaac trying to pass it, but Spidey intercepting it well at the point of attack. ZV has one to beat here. A nice touch throwing it mid, but no Puffin there. Just trying to find some control here. Just looking for each other, kind of probing around, but no true connections as the Jets find a way back towards his arm side. Isaac with a lot of space, but not a lot of time and not a lot of control. But getting it on the side, going off the ceiling, gets some touch, bouncing it down, just kind of across here, just keeping this ball up and slowly milking this clock out.
Puffins right now just can't really line themselves up to get it clear. You watch the Jets go back and forth across their backboard. Doesn't really threaten the Puffins net. I don't think they'll mind that too particularly much. If they're just going to go back and forth and not really look for a shot on goal, eventually that ball's going to drop and line up for a great clearance. But that's a great shot by Isaac in transition. What a pass on the clear by Leota.
What a pass and what a shot. I mean, just arcing and turning that Octane and then softly kissing it in. You expect the power on those redirects, but no, it is the finesse coming through this time.
Good shot. That's exactly what the Jets want there. They get the ability to convert those couple of transitional chances into meaningful goals on the scoreboard, forcing the Puffins to have to chase this one from a little bit further behind Foof. We haven't seen them really post up in the Jets' end right now. Not a lot generated by them offensively that we can remember. That might not help them here chasing the game by 2.
Well, play as much defense as you want, but you need to find a goal, and that is exactly what the Jets continue to do. That soft shot was threatening enough to force a save from Gus. The Puffins trying to get some control here out mid, bouncing back down to Spidey, but denied on the point of attack. Isaac flips the field here. CB has to find a touch and gets it, but it's still in danger. The Jets have another one up. Isaac, you gotta be kidding me! Bar down and puts it in for the hat trick.
Unfortunate for the Puffins. CB does so much work to get that off the backboard. Can't quite take the ball away from Isaac, and then both Puffins players dive straight into the net. Someone might have been able to get up the backboard, maybe coming across to try and help take that away, and unfortunately for them, Isaac with a big play to put the Jets up by 3 has the Puffins with their backs against the wall here.
Their backs are against the wall, and their cars are against their net. They have not found ways off of their side. CB runs past it here. Timmy puts the shot on. Spidey has to make another save. Isaac up at midfield looking for a teammate, but the only car he finds is that orange Octane of CB. Spidey putting it towards the backboard, but it is not another controlled attack. The Puffins just kind of spotty Wi-Fi right now. Not able to find connections, not able to just put the things together and find consistent or quality opportunities.
Been a really quiet game from a lot of the Puffins players, but that might wake them up a little bit. Great shot by Spidey. Gus getting on the end of this one. It's not the best clear by Isaac. Gus gets a big, powerful hit on that up high off the backboard. Leota, the only defender left for the Jets. It's always a tough read to try and figure out where the shot is going to come in from, and Spidey puts it in under the bar for the Puffins, gives them a bit of life here.
Giving some life, and 38 seconds left, so still very much doable. The Puffins need to find one. I'd save out before 20, but it doesn't matter. Isaac said this game 1 belongs to the Jets, and more specifically, it belongs to me.
CB trying to come out and challenge that one up high. It's always a tough read to get that one. The player with the ball with the air dribble has so much control of it, Foo, that diving out for that one is sometimes a hopeless task. Might have wanted to see that one go off the backboard, try to get that interception angle towards the net instead of coming out that far.
The old adage is just trying to close out on the shooter, and sometimes it worked, but this is not a physical space. If they are zoned in on the ball and are just locked in like Isaac was there, they'll just go past you and continue to control it. Now, the Puffins, a very, very tall mountain to climb, and probably won't get it here, but Spidey going for a flip reset, but can't find it. 10 seconds left in game number 1. Isaac puts that probing touch on Timmy, waiting for it near post, but Gus able to drive it out, and this is how game number 1 ends. But no, Leota puts it high. Now Isaac coming back through, trying to find another feel-good goal, but won't get it to go. Jets take game 1.
Solid performance out of the Jets. They got what they needed to in transition. They let the Puffins come at them. There weren't a lot of difference in the shot count. 7 for the Puffins, 8 for the Jets. A lot of it just came down to better transitional play, Foof. When the Jets got the ball, when they pushed the Puffins back in transition, they kind of cut them apart. The passes were really crisp. They were finding one another really well in the midfield, and that opened up a lot of opportunity for the Jets to find shots on goal and really put the Puffins to the test in a lot of cases.
I think the big number that stands out to me here is the amount of saves. That is 5 saves on the Jets' sides, leaving for another goal for them to score. So that means there was one they missed, and then the rest had to have been saved. And that doesn't mean that they weren't good saves on the Jets' side, but there were a lot of shots that were just directed at those blue cars and made it easy for them to save. So there were shots, technically. They had quantity of shots, Jay, but they were not quality opportunities where they found it off the backboard, found it off the cars, or found it off the teammate.
If you and I can't remember a highlight reel save, then odds are they were pretty routine when it comes to thinking about those saves coming in. And for the Puffins, I think they're going to need a little bit more of that zip, a little bit more of that, remember that time when I forced you to dive all the way across and pinch it off your crossbar to keep it away? Because right now the Jets look like they're in cruise control as Timmy goes right through on the kickoff. No boost, no problem. 2 seconds, the Jets up 1-0.
See, I thought the cars were supposed to drag the Jets in when they land. These Jets haven't even taken off, and they're already still in cruise control, just being pulled down the runway towards another lead 2 seconds in, and just firmly in control of this series so far. Now, ball back on the blue side. Leo to catch it here, put it out. But a good read from Gus. That was a shot attempt, but it was too far right. The Puffins, they need to hit on those. That was a wide opportunity, but they could not find it. Timmy can't win the 50 there. Spidey puts it on, but back in the corner is Leona. Demoed for his troubles this time, though. Isaac finds a soft touch, but that is 2 Jets players versus a lot of Puffins just swarming around their end. Giving up that early goal, you kind of just get caught in the face, Jay. It's a hard mountain to overcome, especially only 2 seconds in. And the Puffins trying to find some attack here. Gus, wide open, near shot, but it's turned away by Isaac.
We can talk a lot about the early goal being something that kind of shuts you down a little bit, gets frustrating. But the equal amount is that might just wake you up, might remind you that you still need to play this game out, and there's a lot of time left to find something out of it. The Puffins, since that early goal, feel like they've been all over the Jets, and they haven't got a lot of shots generated because of that, but it just feels like more of that presence is happening in that Jets end. They're getting bumps, they're getting demos, they're keeping the ball in, and forcing the Jets to have to make clears. They're not letting them get control of it here in any real meaningful way.
The only thing I think they need to look at right now is Spidey is reaching for those demos, and there was one double commit right now. So as long as communications stay clean, as long as Spidey is still good on those demos, the Puffins will continue just to control this ball. Now a soft touch from Isaac putting it on. Spidey has to get there and can't. Isaac continues where they left off. Another goal and another 2-goal lead for the Jets.
Spidey tried to wave dash through the boost, didn't quite land it cleanly, ends up a little bit offline, and that might have been the difference between getting back and not, as Isaac doesn't need a lot of room to make that touch count, just picks it up clean out of the corner on target, and the Puffins in transition can't clear it out. Gus can't get there either. Timmy makes it 3-0.
And a danged if you do, danged if you don't, has to try and make something happen there, Gus. Unable to dig it out. That dominance is long, but not long enough. This time, the Jets firmly ahead 3-0 here and are trying to make it 2-0 in the series.
This has been a pretty dominant performance out of the Jets, and Timmy is just going to carry this forward. Kickoffs are not the Puffins' friend right now, as Gus gets well outside of that. Timmy has open season on the Puffins' goal. Just get it goalward, watch it go in. The Puffins are really struggling right now.
I think struggle is the good word right now because they are just, they had pressure and then give it up in transition, they give up a goal. Kickoffs, very big question mark right now for them. It's about finding some consistency at some point. Maybe it needs to be on the defense, but no, the shot can't come through from CB. Another missed opportunity. Now, Isaac, a lot of space here. That soft touch got both players up. Gus, though, backflipping in time, but Leota, that janitor roll, the 1-2 to 3, taking advantage of it.
Isaac doing such a great job putting both Puffins defenders in a tough spot, as Gus can only get a desperation backflip to try and clear it away. Gets a little bit of it, but not quite enough to allow any other player to rotate back. Game 2 has been more of the Jets' pretty much highlight reel performance at this point. It's Isaac going for big touches, it's Timmy getting kickoff goals, and it's Leota playing a great third rotation in here, keeping everything clean, sorting everything out for the Jets, and the Puffins have no answers at the moment.
It's just, you know, they forgot their cheat sheet, Jay. They don't have any, they didn't study last night. This test is something they were not prepared for, and the Jets just continuing to run away up 5 big goals. Gus puts it on, but Isaac playing patient, playing in time, getting the save here. But an errant touch from Timmy gives Leota, has to find it, but can't. CB puts it behind all 3 Jets.
First MLE goal for CB here. It comes on exactly what you'd hope for. Pressure the defense into a tough clear and then fire that shot at net. Try to catch the third player in a tough spot. It's exactly what happens there. CB on the rebound off the loose clear from Leota. Upper 90 near post is exactly what you wanted to see right there.
Taking advantage of opportunities, that is the name of the game. I don't care what league you're in, Jay. If you can find a way to take advantage of it, you will win games, and this is something the Jets will take very big advantage of. All three Puffin players up, no one home. It is 6-1.
Have to hit that one in front of the net. Gus doesn't quite get the shot away, forces Spidey to try a desperation hold, and it's 3 Jets on an empty Puffins goal to make it 6-1.
I've heard of flyovers, not like a fly in, though. That was what the Jets did, this kind of walking that one home. Up 6-1, and maybe we are taking a trip down to South America, getting it prepped right now. The Jets, they certainly want to do it. The Puffins, though, trying to play spoiler here. Gus can't stay on top of it. A good save there coming from Isaac, getting a saver medal. Now Timmy flipping it back, the ball bouncing high, trying to read it here. But Spidey and Timmy both going up. The tactical MIPS coming through. Gus getting some semblance of control, but it's turned away. Leota has to land awkwardly on that wall, so can't continue to pressure.
The Puffins right now still really just struggling to get it away. That one's an open net. Timmy makes it 7-1, and Rio de Janeiro's calling.
It's just an open net. Spidey puts it a little bit too far out off the back of the Octane, and playing up is that last player, and Timmy, like you said, puts it in, takes us down 7-1. You have to hard reset after this game if you're the Puffins. The Jets, they're coming in. They won game 1. They made a statement in game 2, 2 seconds in, and continued since that point. They are in full control of this series.
Absolutely nothing working for the Puffins right now, but a lot of it is just their own small micro errors. You look at the missed kickoffs, you look at the small mechanical mistakes, they're adding up in a big way because the Jets are doing such a good job positioning themselves to benefit from those mistakes. We talked about just needing to have those go your way, especially in a game at this level where it's really just going to come down to, do you make less mistakes than your opponent, or does my opponent not punish me for all of my mistakes? And it just feels like the Jets right now, everything is getting punished. As Isaac looks for the 8th off the crossbar, off a double commit, and finally Timmy puts it through, gets their 5th of the game, excuse me.
I wanted to say that was the one that didn't get punished, but no, it doesn't matter. The Jets still have a 3rd waiting there. Timmy walks up and then almost does the same team-building exercise of throwing it high, but this time it's bar down and in, and you said it, a 7-goal lead in game number 2. The Jets flying, soaring, and just running away with this series. Spidey and company, they have to find something soon, and, you know, obviously this game kind of out of hand, but get a feels-good goal here. Get some control, like Gus giving a chance here and putting it in.
Well, we get a South America trip. We get a, you hate to see it, but it is really good pressure from the Puffins on that one. I didn't quite see who ran down the keeper, got a little bit of a bump and opened that one up for Gus for the Puffins to get there. At least just win this last minute if you're the Puffins. Get a few more goals on board. Try and get something to build off of for next game, because nothing has gone your way in game 2.
Just anything they can hold on to. And in a long series like this of 5 games, you want to find those points where you can turn it back to your side. And so kind of forget game 1, game 2, and don't worry about game 3. Worry about getting a goal and just mark that one off slowly and surely. Take care of the little things, Jay, and the big things will take care of themselves.
Exactly. Right now, it just comes down to winning the battle for possession. The first minute of play in this game, outside of the 2-second kickoff goal, was pretty decent for the Puffins. They just didn't find a way to break through and turn that possession into anything meaningful. So goal number 1 for game 3 at this point has to be build on that kind of success. Make the Jets uncomfortable and find a way to convert the opening chance that you get and get yourselves in front for a change.
Well, I think how you do that is by finding your teammates not only on that offensive end, but finding a way to get it off of their side. When the Jets have pressure, they do not give it up until either they say, all right, we're out of boost, let's back off and look for a counterattack, or they make that small mistake on the end. The Puffins, they cannot consistently keep the ball on that blue half. It's, oh, we get a counterattack and maybe we get 1 or 2 shots here, but we can't control the pace of the game like we want.
A lot of that just comes down to the Jets' ability to get that clear exactly the way they want. Isaacs has had a couple now in the first 2 games of just really good solo efforts clearing that ball out. And I think the key for the Puffins is going to be to pressure Isaac into making a mistake. When you have a player like that that likes to have the ball on their hood, that likes to control, sometimes the best way to get them out of their element is to leave them no space and no time to think. Grab boost, get in their face, go for the bumps, force them to think faster, because a lot of the times, especially at this level, Foof, they don't have the ability to think fast enough to get themselves out of those situations as easily.
So it's like those old sports games. Highlight a player, put the press coverage on Isaac, shut him down, start trying to get your star guy on him, get that one and double team, but just close out, and then don't overcommit for the demos, don't overcommit in the rotations, and don't force double commits. In paper, in theory, Jay, it's not a lot of hard stuff, but when you're going so fast and you're trying to just catch up, it just slowly starts to break down bit by bit. So the Puffins got a little bit of a mountain to climb, but I think they can do it. It just starts, honestly, with the kickoff.
The good news for them is that this one starts with the score at 0-0. None of those extra games will carry over, as Timmy will miss that one off the kickoff. CB can't really convert off of that one. That might be where the Puffins might miss this one if they don't get another good chance early. That really awkward kickoff play not going immediately their way like the one for the Jets did last time around. That one might be a tough one to swallow, especially if the Jets score first.
The ball was floating dangerous there. Kind of held my breath as the Jets players were just postulating around that midfield, but they did not want to overcommit. A smart call, man. I don't know if it was calmed. I don't know if they were just sitting back, but now it is a one-on-one chance. Leota puts it up. CB gets the save credit there, putting it off with that bicycle touch. Gus now one-on-one again. He's got that long dominance, but V8 Timmy standing tall. A little bit of a track meet breaking out right now. Back and forth, back and forth. Spidey beating the corner here. Bounce up for Isaac. A great dish from Timmy.
Great job by Timmy pressuring this one in the corner. Spidey doesn't quite line this one up effectively. Lets Timmy get the high line for the 50, which means there's not a lot of room for that ball to go except back towards the Puffins' goal. Isaac's on the doorstep, won't miss those 9 times out of 10. It's exactly what you see. The Jets withstand the early pressure from the Puffins, convert on a chance, and now force the Puffins again to play from behind.
Well, it's familiar territory. I don't want to say it's somewhere they like to be, but that is what the Puffins have seen. They have seen a deficit all series almost, and now Gus trying to find something here, but gives up possession. The pass to Isaac. Isaac looking for Timmy. No, Leota cuts here, so that's all 3 Jets players at midfield, and the only thing the Puffins have of it right now is a 1-on-2 power play. Now a miss in the corner. Timmy has to make a save and does. Spidey backflipping it black, trying to find it there. Leota gets sent to the 4th row. A chance here, but no control coming through from the Puffins as Leota gets a clear.
Really unfortunate. The Puffins had the Jets a little bit on a scramble. They let them get recovered. They let them get the ball clear. And now the Puffins have all of their boost spent just trying to track this ball down. They get it halfway in, and you can see the Jets just put it back in. Leota beating 2 players with the last amount of boost and the boost grab as well to keep the Puffins scrambling. It's more pressure as Spidey parries away a good shot by Isaac.
Beat the 2 defenders, but the ghost in the net's just too hard to beat. But a great shot there, putting it back on Leota, forcing Spidey to make a save. That's a double commit in the corner, but Puffins getting a clear. Kying just a little bit of room finding finally for them, getting some control here. Spidey a little bit too overzealous on off the wall. Now Leota with a chance here. Low boost, but high control. Going for the demo, but leaving the ball. Now Isaac 15 hard at midfield, the ball bouncing down. CB with a chance here, puts it on Leota. Can't get there in time. Tie ball game, 10 seconds before halftime.
It's important for the Puffins to get that goal. They needed to make sure that they didn't let the Jets get out in front by too many here. It's a great shot by CB. Picks up off a good 50 as well. My Gus catches both the remaining Jets defenders scrambling back for boost. Neither one of them can close that door effectively. Now, if the Puffins can just hold on a little longer, if they can just get the Beaks in front, they might have a chance to get a game out of this one and then build from that point on.
Just want to try and eke out and find that one goal. I would say this feels like an old school college football game. You know, whatever team has the ball last successfully is probably going to win it. Whoever gets that goal to go ahead, I think will probably have this one here. The Jets, they've been in firm control, but they have not had the offensive prowess that we're used to seeing in this series so far. Credit the Puffins a bit. Their defense is short up, and a lot of midfield play has slowed it down. As CB has an open net and puts it in. I didn't know if it would turn, but it did.
Huge miss here for the Jets as Timmy and Isaac are both out. It actually swings around Isaac's car, a little bit of a lag touch. Nasibi picks up on that well, catches again. Both players for the Jets in transition trying to recover after who's been one of their standout players doesn't get the contact needed to keep that ball alive. Now the Jets have to play from behind. We'll see if they have something to do it. Leota looking for a highlight reel, catches it just enough of it that the Puffins can't deal, and Timmy will equal the score.
I just saw Leota jump off the sidewall there, and that is way too much car control. You're going to find a second touch, and then both of the Puffins players caught our post. That ball bouncing high, playing that janitor spot is Timmy, and tying this game back up at under 2 minutes.
That's unfortunate for the Puffins because they did pretty much everything right except for the fact that the last save by CB just ran into Spidey, who is looking desperate to come back and try and shut the door on any follow-up play. Ends up just serving it up on a silver platter. Now the Puffins, again, having to fight from at least on a tie game, but history's shown so far in this one, Foof, that tie game doesn't stay that way for too long against the Jets.
It does not, but CB trying to put one back on. CB has been that striker for the Puffins in this game. And you know what? 100% goal participation from the team of the Puffins. Spidey and Gus both involved with assists, so this team playing like a well-oiled machine, but now they just have to find another one. A 2-on-2 play arising, but a good 50 from Isaac. The ball bouncing back out. The bump coming through from Timmy. Spidey has to beat Leota, gets the touch, technically beats him there, but there is no Puffin really ready to make this play happen. Leota flipping the pitch back. That soft touchdown from Isaac slows it down, but Spidey coming in, rotating near post, able to make that save.
The Puffins need to keep their heads on a swivel here because every time you see that ball in the air, someone from the Jets is up for this one. CB doesn't get enough of this one. Leota with a great little touch up to keep control of that. The shot's in anyway. Timmy actually steals it off the underside there as Gus was wholeheartedly beat.
Secures.
And now the Jets with the goal in front, forcing the Puffins again, Foof, to play desperately in this final minute.
Well, now they have to start overreaching, and that's something I wanted to say. They've done a good job of this game not doing. CB, though, with a chance. That near post was still there, but the inaccurate touch makes it another goal for Isaac. What?
This one really breaks down by Gus lunging in at that ball. Timmy has control of that clear, just needs to flick it over the onrush, and throwing the car at that one leaves a lot to be desired, especially from the third rotation. Both other Puffins players all the way up in the play. Transition out against the chance. The Jets go 1-2 and make it 4-2.
4-2 for the Jets. They were just playing coy this entire time, Jay. They were just waiting until this last minute saying, oh, no, no, no. This is still our series. Don't you worry. CB up the soft touch, but saved by Isaac. Who else but Isaac? There is that man again making another play, keeping his Jets up. Timmy has the ball on that octane beautifully, but turned away by Spidey. 17 seconds left as Gus trying to flip the pitch here. ZB can't get to it, so Spidey has to turn and just try and keep it up, but 10 seconds remain from the Jets and taking this 3-0 series lead. Leota waiting for the dish from Isaac. It's going to bounce here off the sidewall, so now the Jets just trying to decide how they want to put one more on, but CB denies that one. It is a 3-0 series lead for the Jets.
And this one is probably the one that hurts the most if you're the Puffins fans. You had a little bit in this one. You had the Jets in a tough spot, and then they just immediately find a way back into this one. At this point, Foof, you know the Jets are mechanically more consistent. You know that they're going to be able to control the ball better. So now you have to try and adjust if you're the Puffins and get at least something out of this, because your playoff hopes and dreams are starting to dwindle with every growing loss. The Jets are a team that you're fighting with over a wildcard spot, and you already trail them by a decent number of wins. With this direct loss, it's even bigger gap for them to try and track down. So at this point, tighten up the possession a little bit. Don't let the Jets have the ball and try to play around challenging them, because it's just not working at this point. Bring them in, try to win a 50, and force them to scramble in transition, because that's where you scored 2 goals in this last game.
That back half of what you were talking about, I want them to focus on more. Don't worry about the playoffs. Don't worry about the overarching stuff, because that won't matter if you're too worried about that and end up losing another 2 games here. So it's about shoring up your play, building back on those fundamentals, getting the solid touches, finding your teammates, communicating and rotating and being aggressive and dominating. And that's what the Jets have done. And in spurts, the Puffins have done it. They had a chance in that last game. We talked about it. It was a tight one until that last minute, and just the gates broke open.
Exactly. Now Utopia Coliseum, the peaceful evening version, might be the reset that the Puffins are going to need. They need to start off early, I think, if they're going to have any real hope of getting out of this one, because we've seen the Jets, when they get going hard.
Well, it is trying to stem the bleeding once the Jets start, and the Puffins can try to do that. Gus with a chance here, but ends up being denied at the point of attack. Once again, CB has some control, has to get it off the wall, but can't. Isaac still on Spidey. Crack shot, but too far left. A little bit inaccurate there off of the touch from the Octane. Past one is Leota. He's got to beat Gus here and does a big-time dunk. Now the Jets looking for a near-post play. Isaac dishes it back to the far post. Timmy demoed and one. Not going to find it, but Isaac able to get that goal.
Really great job by the Jets in transition. Isaac with a beauty of a touch to put that across. The Puffins have to go back and forth, post to post to chase it down. No one gets a line to try and clear it after that point. And the Jets go from in their own end to scoring a goal in a matter of seconds. The transition game really strong for them right now.
Finding a way, and that is exactly what the Jets have done. They've scored it offensively. They've found ways in transition. They've found passing plays. They just get it done again and again and again. Now Gus trying to find something here, but unable to find an accurate shot. Spidey is up trying to beat Leota. So now another touch coming through, but not enough boost. CB gets the big-time dunk. 2 players there, but they weren't ready for that one.
Really good pressure by Spidey. Just gets in the way of that ceiling clear, and Timmy and Isaac both have to back up off of that one. No one has a great line to try and play that away, so the Puffins just throw bodies at that net. They get the good result out of that. They keep themselves in touching distance of game number 4, and that has to continue. They need to get back in front. Oh, that demo by Timmy off the kickoff might make things harder early on.
It would make it harder if you find the pass there, but now Leota waiting out at midfield doesn't want to overcommit because they were that third sitting back for the Jets. Tie ball game here. The Jets do not want to give up a lead as Timmy rotates that post, gets a good clear. CB putting it back on, but no Puffin up here with him. Timmy flips the ball back, in control here, putting it into the corner, trying to find a ball off the backboard. No, it's just a fake. Isaac, wide open net, and puts it in.
Just watch how the Jets do this one in transition. Timmy beats out the first challenge. Spidey has no hope, but that Gus really trying to read that play off the backboard. Just can't quite do anything about it because there's just no ability to contest that space effectively with the speed that comes in. Goes 2 to 3 touches for the Jets the second they pick that ball back up, and the next thing you know, it's in the Puffins' net.
Just any space the Jets see, and you give them an inch, they are going to take a mile. That has been their moniker this so far. Now Timmy waits for his teammate. No, he's actually going to cut off here, so CB can't find the shot, but the Puffins, now a little bit of an opportunity. That double commit there makes Timmy be no one home. Now Spidey can't find it off of Leota. The Jets get away with this one and technically get a shot for that as Timmy puts it on. It's saved in the end by CB. CB looking for Spidey here, but overshoots it a little bit too far on the pass. Dante Culpepper-esque just leading his receiver too far.
It's a little bit scrambly from the Puffins. It actually started with the double commit. You didn't quite see it because it wasn't really going for the same ball, but they kind of ended up in the same area of play for the Puffins, and that left the Jets a big opportunity to try and get that ball up in transition. They got the shot away from it, forcing this right back into a track meet, which suits the Jets down to a T. They're fine watching the Puffins scramble. They're fine going back and forth end to end because they're just so much more consistent with what they're doing with their cars on the field. It never feels like the Jets are truly out of any sequence of play in this game.
Well, they are not out of it, and Timmy is not out of accuracy. A beautiful dish there coming from Leota, striking in transition and striking to perfection.
Just look at the way Leota controls that up. Knows the challenge is coming, but doesn't really care about it. Was always intending to make a 50 to try and beat that challenge coming in with how much control there was. None of the Puffins close off the middle effectively. Timmy gets a great shot and puts this one up by 2 for the Jets.
I'd love to be able to challenge just willy-nilly, not care, just know I'm going to dunk it on, but that's not why I'm here. Leota puts it on again, but a little bit too far left. CB finding clear, Gus turning back to it, Timmy gets it. So now 2 Jets versus 1, Puffin the ball up high. CB has to find the redirect and does. So Jets posture around, Spidey puts it towards his own corner. More control is better than no control, but still, the Jets continue to pour it on. They are up 2 goals. They continue to move it around. Spidey rotating off the ball, giving Gus a chance here. CB up, clearing it, but still, Puffins, just when they have opportunities, they're just so far spread out and so disjointed, they cannot find each other in these important times.
They spend so much boost trying to regain control of the ball in their own end that by the time they get it upfield, there's nothing left in the tank to try and get any real control of the ball. They get the first couple touches up, but by that point, the Jets are already back. They've already got field position. They've already got boost, and there's no control left for the Puffins. You see Spidey spending the last vestiges of boost in the tank, just trying to get a 50 on the ball. Again, CB upfield, no boost, has to chase this down with 0 boost. The Jets are just playing with the Puffins at this point. They know there's no effective control of the ball, so why do they have to go contest it? They can sit back, let the Puffins run out of gas, playing it back to them, and then put it back with a great transitional play.
truly just sitting and taking what the defense or offense in this point gives to you. The Jets in control. They've been in control of this game physically, but they have just been in control of it mentally ever since about that 2.5-minute mark in this game. They're just firmly riding high, sitting back, letting them do what they want, and saying, yeah, you guys can put some pressure on, we'll clear it back, and we're not going to give up a goal.
That one, too, Gus just can't quite find the handle on it, coming from so far back to contest that ball that CB puts up against the Jets defense. This is more of what you want to see out of the Puffins. Get back in midfield, hold the line against the loose touches. Finally, they get that one and convert. It's game on as the Jets, all that offensive pressure so far hasn't quite amounted to enough goals. Now the Puffins in striking distance.
3-13. 3-13. 3 shots on the Puffin side to the 13 of the Jets. They have been hemmed in, but when they have the opportunity, they take it. It's the Puffins. They have to find something here. Down 1 goal. Trying to knock on this door. CB has the opportunity, but does not have control. Misread from Gus. So Spidey has to commit, but there is now nobody home. The Jets push this one back. CB puts it on the sidewall here. Has to catch up to it, and I don't think they will. And the Jets, a little bit of a heart racer there at the end, but still 1 goal lead means they take this one.
This one, it looked a lot more dominant from the Jets, and it really was, but they just never converted any of those shots into goals. So this game looks a lot closer on paper than it was, but until that final stanza where the Puffins got their second goal, the shots were actually 13-1.
Yep.
And that just goes to show you that the Jets, I think, put it in second gear, said, we've got enough to win this. We don't really want to run the score up at this point. But that's a dangerous prospect to play against the Puffins team that is now trying to just avoid getting swept. They're going to be coming out. They know what they need to do, I think, Foof, getting that goal. Just force the Jets into not having the cleanest possession on the clearance. Stop them from transitioning. And that's where they'll find opportunities to score.
I think the biggest thing you can do as a player is if you are overwhelmed at any point, make your opponents feel uncomfortable. That is something I had to learn to do because I am a lot smaller of a person and I played offensive line in college, so I had to adjust to making my opponents feel uncomfortable. I do it here in Rocket League by bumps, by demos. Spidey has been doing that off and on throughout the series, and so the Puffins finding these different challenges, these weird offensive attacks, and these weird kind of ebb and flows of the game. In ways it works, they just have to find consistency, some substance to that attack. If they can do that, I think that is how they find their way to not get swept.
They need to just put the Jets in a tough spot. They did that on the second goal. They forced out a couple of weak clears that weren't able to be followed up by any Jets player to get that transition game going. And if that's how they can continue going through here in this 5th and final game of this set, there's opportunity to come out of this with at least a single solitary game win. But if they let the Jets settle in, if they let the Jets get their rhythm going, then it's going to be a long week until the next game for the Puffins Champ League team.
It is the same 7 days, but it does feel longer after a big loss like this. Jets firmly in control, trying to find another shot as Leota, but can't put it down in time. CP colliding with a teammate. Nothing friendly about that fire on the back end there for the Puffins. Timmy putting it high. It's going to bounce over to Isaac. Isaac out to midfield. A nice pass, but the only car he finds is that orange and blue octane of Spidey 720.
Good wait by Spidey as well. Recognized that the pass was there. Didn't go for the first touch, but waited for that ball to come out to mid uncontested. And that's really what you want to see out of the defense at this point. You know that the Jets are going to try to make those cute plays happen, although that one by Spidey is getting met by what looks to be 3 Jets. Leota's got this one up slow, just a little too far for Isaac to make anything work. Timmy, though, should keep this one alive, and this is where the Puffins have to worry, Foof. When the first couple of rotations come in and their clearances aren't great, and they're starting to run out of boost, this is where the Jets have found real big chances to score goals.
The Jets just rotate so well in front of the net, but Spidey putting it all the way across the pitch. Isaac denying it, but this is where the Jets like to be. They don't mind the first couple of 50s. They throw it on, sit back, and then begin to choke out any chance for the defense. Spidey has to make another save, only a minute and a half in, but all 3 shots have been saved by Spidey 720.
Been a much better performance through the first section of the game by the Puffins. They haven't really given up a ton of glorious chances to the Jets, as Gus will get a demo in transition on Isaac, but the Puffins again losing their offensive or defensive boost, to the Jets players, as I think Leota did a full run by of the Jet or the Puffins back boost. This leaves them a lot to do. Timmy rings it off both posts and it rolls in as finally the dam breaks and the Puffins are down by 1.
It breaks and finding it off of the post. That just looked like an impossible angle. It bounced on the outside, rolled in, and then hits the other post and just softly comes to a stop in the back of the net, giving the Jets that 1-goal lead. And back in a familiar spot, the Jets up again.
Give me back Post Physics circa 2016. That one just goes flying back out to midfield after the second hit.
Well, it's more fun that way, you know? You play a little pinball effect, but Timmy and company take those and trying to take another one here. Denied right outside of the goal. CB throwing it back, but that is no control from the Puffins. The Jets will capitalize. Leota tries to find it over Spidey, but can't. The Jets rotating back, just sitting once again in control, just grabbing this boost, just eating up time, boost, space, just the whole buffet right now, Jay.
Well, the Puffins, again, have to spend so much of their time and energy just getting the ball to midfield that they don't have any ability to play a second phase on that clear. And it really is coming back to hurt them because that first touch leaves so much left to do. The Jets drop back, they let that touch get loose into space, and then they take it back and force the Puffins to scramble back in a pure-on panic to try and keep that ball away. Good save by Leota. CB gets a good shot on there for the Puffins in transition.
Leota sitting back patiently, you know, just calm, collected, and firmly in control. That is what I like to see from a defender. Usually defense is a very emotional state for a lot of sports. In Rocket League, I think it's the calmest you should ever be. You're just letting it happen and trying to make the read, and that is exactly what the Jets continue to do. They absorb this pressure and then find cracks to push back. CB puts it on. Spidey is up, but there is that man again, Isaac. Now to Timmy. Timmy out in front. Can't find the shot, but a double touch coming through. Leota, Janitor just taking it home.
You don't need to make that one accurate when you've got the last defender beat. Timmy just puts that in. CB, last-ditch effort to try and clear that away. It throws the body across, and the next player on that ball is almost always going to be a Jet in that transition. The Puffins, 6s and 7s, just can't get themselves together to try and withstand the Jets in transition.
It's just getting caught with their hand in the cookie jar repeatedly over and over and over again. And it's no real quality that it's bad from the Puffins. They just get caught in transition. CB taking advantage of an errant touch from Timmy.
A lot of the reason they're getting stuck in transition is just that first touch from the Puffins. A lot of the time, there's so much desperation built into that it's anywhere but in front of my net. And that leaves them so much more work to do to try and catch back up to that ball when you've got nothing left in the boost tank. And I understand the need for it because you've been under so much pressure and there's not a lot of boost left, but at some point you might just have to let these guys on the Jets come in and try to force a 50 and give your teammates a little bit more time to get boost to follow up on a second phase of play. Because the dump and chase right now, Foof, it's not working. Case in point, that double touch by Timmy for 3-1.
I think it's an emphasis on chase instead of the dump. It's like the dump and chase. Because the ball just gets so far ahead of these Puffins players. Like you mentioned, just it's boost, it's transition, it's control. It's just a list at this point. And throwing it down, it's a good attack some ways, but with this Jets team that just slowly creeps back and sits and waits for you to make a mistake, they pounce as soon as you lose control. And that is a big reason why they are in firm control of their destiny and why they are firmly control and looking to make this sweep happen.
The Puffins spend so much boost just getting the ball into a spot where they can hit it one more time. The Jets, all of their rotations are set up to maximize the boost grabs. There's nothing that the Puffins can really find anywhere on the field, and that makes it just so much harder to keep any phases of play going right there. Timmy wins the mid boost over. Spidey gets the demo as well. CB has a chance to try and bring this one in, but has to spend all of that 80 boost just to get the ball into a save against two Jets players. There's no room for the Puffins in this game, in this series, and the Jets have just put on an absolute clinic when it comes to threes. They walk out of this one, Foof, 3-1 winners in Game 5, 5-0 winners in the series, and provisionally take the Forge Division lead in Standard in Champion League.
23 wins in this season. Week 6, 23-12. That is a heck of a record to lay your hat on. And the Jets, if this is anything to go by, they are not done. They are going to continue to roll out. I gotta say, as someone who likes to watch games more analytically, when you put a tape like this together, teams you have to play in the future will watch this and go, yeesh. You got to worry about these guys in transition. You got to worry about Isaac shooting from left field. You got to worry about Timmy throwing it up and just making these plays happen. And it's a lot of good things to see. Then you cross the pitch at the Puffins. You had so many good things in these 5 games. It's just finding a way to string those together in a game to find that first elusive win, because when you win that first game, everything else becomes easy.
I think the biggest thing to take away from this one is if the Puffins go back and break it down on the tape, just understand how much of that ball got away from them. The Jets didn't do anything really special to make them do that outside of just being fast. They got to the ball, they had better control over it, they forced the Puffins to make inefficient decisions with their boosts and with their cars, and just really wore them down. Only one game really got away from them, that was game 2. All of the other ones, it felt like they were in it. They just weren't in it far enough to really make up any ground on a team that capitalized on every opportunity that was given to them. For the Jets, it's just more of the same. That's a clinic when it comes to threes. They did pretty much everything right to force a team into making mistakes and then converting on them time and time again.
Getting the job done, Jay. That is what any team wants to do. And when you just get to go down the checklist, control the ball, control the pace, control the boost, control the series 5-0, done next week. That is what you always want to do and continue to run towards that playoff. So, Jay, Series 1 is in the book, and we have some more Standard League coming at you in a short bit. We have the Express versus the Lightning. So, stick around. We'll be back after a short break.